the show, or
we'll give you some kind of credit for it, because you know what? I mean, we're bumbling through this as so many other people, because the terminology just may not be there, especially when you're dealing with poly families.
Oh yeah.
So, but
there really wasn't another way to express what you were trying to say right then.
Right. Not that I could think of this early in the morning.
Well, yeah. So if there is another way, or if somebody knows another way of saying that, then by all means, dial it in.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that showed my age.
Phone
it in. Yeah, really.
Even then.
Okay. Message,
email,
right.
No, text it in.
Send a carrier pigeon.
Carrier pigeon.
Smoke signals. That's it. Really just, be patient, because unless you have lived with them, you may not know that it takes child by poly to get ready. Like, it takes them an hour to get ready in the mornings.
Mm-hmm.
And so, these are all discussions that you may want to have beforehand. Like, hey, and that can go into the next point, is having a vacation planning meeting.
Oh, yeah.
With everybody who's coming.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because we did that before I took the kids to Louisiana. I was like, look, I'm not one to stop very often. I want to get on the road. I want to get to my destination, and that's it. So we literally, pump gas while driving type of thing. Like,
have the tanker roll up to the car.
Exactly. That's exactly how I like to do it. And so I'm on the road. I just want to, get in, get out, get it done, and get back on the road. And that took some real adjusting for me. For me to be able to, be okay. It's like, come on, people, hurry up, let's go, come on, we got to get back on the road.
Squeeze the sides.
So, and that's how I typically do things, and I was not able to act like that, because there's so many people, and that irritates people. That really gets under people's skin, and then next thing you know, you have a car full of people traveling on the road, completely irritated with the driver or whoever else is sitting next to. So it doesn't make for a comfortable however many hours on the road you have left.
The next bullet point then, I guess, would be organize and make plans. Allow everyone the option to suggest something they'd also like to do or be in charge of. Mm-hmm. Making an itinerary together but being flexible is also important. That all goes into planning and scheduling and having the meeting. During that vacation planning meeting, it'll be important to go over lots of different things, like what you plan to do while you're there. If if you have kids or you have your other partners, have them do research. Find things on the way that you may
want to do,
be interested in, or looks fun, that would be doable within the time frame you have to get down there.
And it also helps as a break to the staring at the road for
and it helps everybody keep excited about what's going on and what's happening. So if they know, okay, we've been on the road for 2 hours, now we're time to stop, or whatever, and we're planning on doing this, and we're almost how long to the gem mining place, how long to if you're flying, you can't do those kind of things. But
if you get out while you're flying, other people in a plane might have something to say about it.
Yeah,
something like, oh God, we're all gonna die.
Probably some along those lines. So on a side note, that does help to break the monotony, especially depending, I know in the U.S., when you're driving through certain states, there is literally nothing to look at all when you're driving. So the whole road boredom thing comes into effect. It's like, it's one thing whenever you're driving and everybody has something to look out outside the window, and there's other times when it's like, oh look,
cow.
Another blade of grass.
Another cow.
Another cow, another blade of grass. That type of thing. So doing something to break the monotony of that is nice.
I was going to say, channel if some of you are old enough to remember the Brady Bunch. It's one of those things where, if you noticed, anytime they did a thing, they always had it super organized. They were always on the money. There was somebody there who had collected the snack bags and was handing them out to each person as they walked out the door. They were going one by one. They usually went in order of size or age or some kind of thing like that to get in the vehicle and out. It seemed ridiculous. It was funny as a show, but honestly, it was a great model for a large family organization.
Yeah.
It was just, you have to keep that organized. You have to know it's going to take X number of, sorry vegans, chicken legs to feed this family between this destination and this destination.
Yep.
So you've got to have them, and you get them wrapped, ready to go and ready to eat, and then have them ready to pass out.
Yeah, you definitely don't want cannibalism to start in a car after an hour and a half of night eating.
And that's really important.
Hungry people get irritated, so
Yes.
have snacks.
Being hangry is a thing. We, especially with X, that was a big thing we had to make sure we were always accommodating for. And, some of the children as well. And so we always, even if we're going away for 2 hours or we're going to be on the road for any extended period of time, I keep snacks in the car.
Mm-hmm.
And packing, you can make it fun too.
Oh, yeah.
Like you can have a get together the night before where you all pack the snacks and the meals. You can even pack meals. Sandwiches travel really well.
Mm-hmm.
Or even the materials to make the sandwiches. Put the loaf of bread, put the packs of whatever kind of meat or protein substitute you're using, and then all of the condiments. Mayonnaise does not have to be refrigerated unless you have put it in the refrigerator. This is some weird fact that I've learned, just like butter, apparently. So...
No, butter's good in and out.
Well, yeah, but if you've put mayonnaise in the fridge, then you have to refrigerate it. Otherwise, you never have to refrigerate it. You can leave it out. Same with mayonnaise and ketchup, or mustard and ketchup. So you can put these things, you can pack a cooler and pack a small cooler, pack chips, things that travel well, protein bars, snack bars, all of that. And you guys can sit and all plan during your meeting what everybody would like to bring. That way, the more inclusive you can make everybody feel, the better your trip is going to go, because they're going to see something that's in that bag and be like, oh yeah, I have such and such. It's my favorite thing. Mm-hmm. I want to eat that. And then they feel like they're included. It's little details and things like that that's going to make your trip more harmonious, because being in close quarters with people can be even people you've lived with, especially in a vehicle. You don't have anywhere to go.
Yeah, and it would also prevent things like, oh, Mom, Aaron is gnawing on my arm. I think he's hungry.
You want to make sure that you have that, but sit down with each other, plan it out. Plan how long your trip's going to be. Tell them what to expect. Give them little tidbits of information about what to expect when they arrive at the destination. Are you going to be encountering family? Are you going... There's so many important things that come out of the meeting. Also discuss fears and concerns. Mm-hmm. That way you can address them.
Like, for example, apparently my driving.
There was a military general that once said that planning is utterly meaningless, except it's essential. Because once something starts, your plan just goes flying out the window. But if you hadn't had that plan, it would have been so much worse. It's one of those things where, plan to leave at 8 and get to the place, whenever the travel time allows for it. But you'll find that no matter how well you planned, you're not leaving until 8:30, 8:45. Something delayed the process.
Noon.
Yeah. So plan. Just like we're talking about, like plan with each other, talk to each other, keep in touch with each other. But for the love of everything sacred, please be very flexible and patient.
Yeah.
Because when you have a lot of people and a lot of conflicting needs, you have to look out for each other.
Patience, Daniel-san.
And that brings me to another point that, we had some things happen, and we did all the planning. We did all of the work. We did all of the meetings. We did all of the packing. And then we got to the day of the event, and we had several people who were not feeling well. It's a thing. And I kind of just had a thought. And it's like, okay, well, we can't have this many people and have everybody feel 100% all of the time on every event that we're going to. And the more people you have, the less likely it is that everybody is going to be at 100%. So, you may wake up the morning of the event, you're ready to leave, you're amped up, you're just super excited and psyched, and one of your children has a fever, or one of your partners is
having
not feeling
meltdown.
Well, that, yeah. Any number, they're so anxious, they're, they're sick to their stomach, or any number of things could have happened. And so you have to be prepared for that. You have to be patient and understanding and allow for those types of situations to happen. And then you have to communicate with them and ask them, is this something that we can work through? Is it something that, we can give you some medicine and you'll feel better? And would you like to continue? And then
and that brings up, the option to opt out.
And that's another point.
Right. Yeah. And so if it's going to be a point of, if you're coming with us and you're going to be miserable the whole time, we're giving you the option to opt out, and we're not going to hold it against you. You're not feeling well, but you also need to be able to let everybody else go and you be okay with everybody else going without you.
Right.
So, and it's one of the things, it's not easy for everybody and all that other stuff, but the thing is, if you have this big day planned and everybody is, excited about it and all that other stuff, you know what? I would rather them have a good time without me, and then me, rather than me going there, ruining their day.
This is a good opportunity for people who might need to do a little self-exploration. If you're not okay with going, too afraid, too anxious, too busy, too whatever.
If you don't have enough spoons for the day.
If you don't have enough spoons for the day, and you just can't stand the thought of going, that's one thing. Okay, opt out. But if you also can't stand the thought of being left behind, I would suggest getting some help. Mm-hmm. Honestly, because you can't have both. You can't expect both to, I don't want to go, so nobody can go.
And on top of that, it's people in the group that are going. Yeah, I'm sure they're going to feel guilty. Most people will feel guilty leaving somebody behind. But at the same time, the people going, feeling guilty about it, it's like, okay, I understand that they're not feeling well. I understand. I'm not going to be upset with them staying home and taking care of themselves, because that is a self-care thing that needs to be done.
Right. Just as a thing, if you're discovering this within yourself, that you're too anxious to go and do the things, as somebody who suffers and struggles with social anxiety and that sort of thing, start understanding where your limits are and which ones you can push.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, I find that I'm comfortable with my polycule, with my family. So if they're there and I'm feeling a little nervous, I can go anyway. And I have, I've never regretted going anyway.
You have a support unit with
Right.
you.
Right. And, discuss and communicate with each other if this is something that you can work through. That way everybody knows how to support you while you're doing this thing. But never to the point that you're going to hold it against them and make them feel guilty for, quote unquote, making you go.
Right.
I would rather you not go.
Exactly. Again, like Crow was saying, that's something that you need to seek help for, or decide maybe that, this...
A little self-exploration would be a good idea.
Self-examination.
Yeah, there it is.
Because self-exploration could be considered something else.
Right.
Well, hey, that can make some people feel better about things.
Absolutely. Rub one out before the trip starts.
Hey, it's great for anxiety.
Right.
It truly is.
I guess that brings to checking in with everybody on a regular basis to make sure everybody's okay. Pay attention to the subtleties. You're going to know your people. And if you feel like, they're having a struggle time and they're having a rough time, check in with them. It may just take a 3-second, or not 3-second, but, a 3-minute side talk and hugging, and maybe they need to cry a little bit and hug it out. And that's a different thing as well. Offer more affection, offer more patience and understanding, and you'll see that you'll get it in return, because I guarantee there is going to be a time where you're going to feel overwhelmed, overloaded, overtired, and even just the stress of being on the road and all of that. And I would hope that they would also extend that affection and that compassion towards you as well.
Right. And another example of that is that we went to New Orleans, and If you ever been in New Orleans, paying to park, get to New Orleans, and we pull in, we park. One of our daughters just was